When you walk in this building, you see something you would expect at Columbia University in New York. The only thing you're not dreaming, you're actually in Kambuga. The kids who sleep for 7 years on the floor now are sitting in the front of a computer watching 30 minutes of Safari on YouTube.
Hi Urban Family, my name is Edmond Safari. Now last week we talked to Jackson Kaguri, TSJ, about the beginnings of Nyaka AIDS Orphan Project. And this week we continue the conversation. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
Now, before we can continue the conversation, in 2011,
yes,
you were invited to the UN Summit to discuss the development goal of educating all girl children by 2015.
Yes, sir.
And yet today, you are single-handedly offering an education to a community of Nyaka deep in Uganda from Kanugu District.
Yes.
Why has it failed? And what's your perspective or your take on that?
So the United Nations came up with these fancy goals to educate all over the world. There were 8 main goals. One of them was education for all. But as I discussed in 2011 and as it is true today, educating children takes more than just going in a classroom. When you're educating kids in Afghanistan, in a desert, maybe you have to give them water so they can walk to school through the desert. When you're educating kids in the hills of Kabale and Kanungu, where they are walking 7 miles to go to school, you have to give them food so they can sustain themselves. The world has failed children. 70 million children are still out of primary school. Yes, Nyaka is educating about 967. We are caring for more than 43,000 children living with grandmothers, but we have succeeded mainly because we look at a child as a whole. We give them education, we give them health care, we give them sanitary products, we give them food, we give them libraries where they can read books, we give them clean water so they can take a shower and also come to school early. Uniforms, pencils are provided free of charge. When you just say education in a classroom, you have to remember the circumstances rather than group everybody and say education for all, education meaning going to a classroom. You have to go deeper and say these are needs we need to meet in other aspects.
In 2012,
yes,
you are recognized among so many to be among the CNN heroes of the year.
Yes,
you are also recognized by the Global Peace Award in 2015.
Global Citizen Award.
Global Citizen Award.
Yes, sir.
And certainly you have been recognized by so many people out there.
Yes, sir.
How does it feel to be recognized?
You know, it's humbling, but at the same time, it's a reminder of the people we serve. CNN, Global Citizen, the PhDs, honorary PhDs, all these are in recognition of the work I do. None of them are going and say, hey, Jackson, you're so handsome, you have muscles, you're a great father, we recognize you. They recognize me because of the children we serve, because of the grandmothers. Basically, I am riding on the backs, the grandmothers and the children. These are their honors. Without serving them, nobody would have recognized Jackson.
And here we are seated in a fully furnished laboratory,
yes,
in Nyaka, thanks to your project. Give me an overview of Nyaka AIDS Orphan Project.
So that's 15 years of summary, which I'm going to give you in 2 minutes. Nyaka started as a school. Children orphaned, left behind because of HIV/AIDS. We realized at an early stage that children were sleeping in a classroom. We introduced food. 5 basic needs. I'm a human rights advocate by heart. I knew no human being should live without 5 basic needs. Food, education, housing, healthcare, and employment. If a person gets those 5 basic needs, they will succeed. We knew if we give this to our children, they will succeed. So we started with the school education. We dug up our soccer field and started planting plants so we can have food. Now they have 2 meals a day. We started hired a nurse who is a science teacher to treat their bandages, to treat their wounds, give them aspirin instead of staying home because you have a headache. You come to school, take your aspirin and go to classroom. You get injured playing soccer, they bandage you back to the class. Grandmother is sick, we send medication home. Now we have a clinic, full functioning clinic that treats everybody for free. We went in and looked at where can we house them. Should we build an orphanage? We could have, but then you have now young people crying in a dormitory, people barking orders, go to sleep, wake up, now take a shower, now wake up. Instead, we created a community with grandmothers who are not related to these children, to live with them and give them comfort. 7,000 grandmothers, and then we turned around and went to those grandmothers and created jobs for them. They make baskets, we buy them, we give them revolving money, we build them houses, latrines, kitchens, so children can live in a better environment. Then we look at their, within the health care, clean water. Working with Rotary, I'm a Rotarian. All Rotarians out there who are doing good job, water is here, serving more than 50,000 people. Then we look at their jobs. When you finish school, we work with you to find a job. When you work with grandmother, you're on job training. When you are working at school, you're on job training. So they have education, they have health care, they have 2 meals, food every day, they have housing with grandmothers, and they get jobs.
Wow. Thank you, Jackson.
You're welcome.
Now, how cheap, how expensive is your project?
So 7,000 grandmothers, 43,000 children. We spend in operations $1.2 million.
Every single year?
Every year. So Kanugu District gets an injection of 1.5 billion Uganda shillings from Nyaka project. And when you add on construction, bands and banners, all this capital campaign, this school is a $1.8 million school.
Now, Nyaka Vocational School,
yes,
is both a formal education,
yes,
but still vocational.
Yes.
And you're offering these communities laboratories, computer. Take me through that.
So it's what you call a hybrid. When I was growing up, my dad started changing the local cows, getting the bull to come in and make a hybrid cow. A hybrid cow that would endure the environment and still get more milk. That's what we are doing. We are combining formal education, academics, and vocational hands-on. I live in the United States. A medical doctor goes home, their toilet is not working, they turn on, put on their shirt, go under the toilet and fix it. Safari, yours breaks, you are calling somebody. We in Uganda are trained to be bosses. We don't want to do practicals. I want our children to realize you can fix your toilet, you can build your brick house on the weekends, you can paint your own walls. Whether you're going to be a doctor, a businessman, accountant, you can still have these skills. After all, you might not find a job in your profession and you can start doing something. But there are also kids who don't, vocational school is not for failures. It's a choice. Somebody wants to be an engineer, start by brick making so they can support their mother. It's okay to do that. Eventually you can upgrade or you can still do that. Many people have a mentality that kids who fail to go to university are the ones to go to vocational school, not at this school. But there's an aspect of this school also I want to highlight. Girls who get pregnant can still attend school in this school.
In this school?
Yes. We refuse to send a child home because they got pregnant. We work with her so other kids can see how difficult it is to be pregnant and attend classes. The government tried to fight that. I said, until you fund us, you can say something. Right now, government gives us zero money, so they have zero say in our policies.
And in this laboratory are bus and banners.
Yes, sir.
I'm seeing taps.
Yeah.
Somebody might be asking, are these things working in Nyaka?
Yes, they do. Bunsen burn, I don't want to create fire for your TV, but all these work. You can see water is running, the gases are running, the tubes are there, the computers are running. In fact, if it was not a weekend, you could go on Wi-Fi right now and tweet. Urban TV, tweet to your CEO, Robert Kabushenga, and maybe he can retweet it. These things are working, they are functional, children are using them. We want doctors to be trained here while still having a care of their grandmothers. Rather than go to Budo, to St. Mary's, Chisubi, to become a doctor, they are going to be trained and...
Nyaka Orphans, I'll again talk about Nyaka AIDS Orphan Project.
Yes, sir.
Has a segment of grannies.
Yes, sir.
And you specifically tell me that you have over 7,000 grannies.
Yes, sir.
Take me through it.
Grandmothers. As a young boy, my grandmother took care of me. Not that I lived with her, but she loved me so much. And every Ugandan will tell you stories of grandmothers changing their lives, feeding you, calling you husband, treating you special. My grandmother, when I was injured at 9 years, spent 8 months in the hospital, coming every night to read me a passage in the Bible. Then I found out she didn't even read. My grandfather would read for her, and she would come and recite so I can fall asleep without feeling all the pain. I would wake up every morning waiting for 6 p.m. when my grandmother would come back.
Kindly hold on that. And when we'll be back after that commercial break, we shall continue the conversation. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying tuned to 30 Minutes with Edmond Safari, only on Urban TV. Now we are talking about Nyaka AIDS Orphan Project. And here is an amazing gentleman that we are continuing with us a conversation with. Now you were talking about the grannies.
Grandmothers,
yes,
the heroes of our communities. So what we have done in 2006, I took 2 grandmothers to Toronto, Canada, to meet with all world grandmothers supported by the Stephen Rose Foundation. When we came back, we reorganized. We already had children living with grandmothers, not necessarily grandmothers who are related to them. A grandmother is somebody who lives with a child. So what do we do with grandmothers? We organize them in groups, 91 groups. All these 91 groups total 7,000 grandmothers covering Kanugu District and Rukunjiri District. These grandmothers, these children who live with these grandmothers don't all necessarily come to our schools, but this is what they benefit. Every grandmother who is enrolled has access to a revolving fund, economic empowerment, teach a woman to fish. This is what we use right now. We get these grandmothers to do economic activities, whether it is growing cabbages, dodo, or making baskets, or making hats. The hat I was wearing earlier, the grandmothers make that. The amazing thing is we buy these items from them, then take them and give them to our donors, sell them in America, make money, put it back in. We go in and find grandmothers who are 90 years old and can't build themselves a house anymore. Change their house, the grass-thatched house, and build them a small 12 by 14 house with an iron roof, so children can sleep at night and come to school. We train them on parental skills. They are a generation apart. They don't know what girls are going through or boys are going through now. They get together, they train, they learn from each other, they gather, they sing, and they become grandmothers all over.
Are these grandmothers, related to these orphaned children?
No, sir. Some are, but majority are not. These are caring women who realize that Nyaka needs them because we ask them to live with orphans. They are as philanthropic as Bill Gates.
These grandmothers again, you're calling them heroes.
Yes, yes they are.
And these orphan children are related to them, irrespective. They are there because of to get that emotional support, exactly. Right?
Yes, sir. We realized, Edmund, that children wake up at night and have nightmares. They dream of their parents dying. They dream somebody beating them they dream crying. So when they wake up in the middle, they have diarrhea, there's an individual to give them individual attention. It's okay, go back to sleep.
How do you integrate the lives of these grandmothers with these children?
So once we place a child in a grandmother's home, the grandmother gets a little training, the grandmother gets to know the child. But you know, when we are starting, it was hard for grandmothers to accept children because they thought now the whole legal responsibility befalls them. They would say, I don't have land. When the child gets sick, I don't know where to put them. Bring them to our clinic. I don't have food to feed them. We have a farm, 17 acres. We even send children home with food. I don't have clothing. You don't need it. We provide all clothing and uniform for the children. Don't have soap, we'll give it to you. What do you want? Your emotional support. Tell them it's okay. Love them. Tell them stories about their parents. Your dad used to wear these shorts and fold them on one side and the kids giggle. Then they cry. Then the emotion comes out. Then they can go into mathematics and write an English essay about their dad, rather than feeling like if they write about dad, it's going to bring a memory they want to suppress. You are a psychologist by training. We are psychologically empowering kids to be successful and to use their story to empower their future.
Now, beyond education, why did you choose to intervene in providing clean drinking water?
Every human being deserves to drink water. There are 1 billion people in the world who don't have clean water. We knew our girls, specifically girls, were coming to school late because the grandmothers they stay with, the guardians required them to go fetch water 2 miles away, then walk 5 miles to school. So one, we wanted to make sure that kids can get to school early. We wanted women to be able to have water closer. I'm a Rotarian, I know the need for water, but we also wanted every kid to be able to take a shower at night, to wash their uniform at night. The girl is in her period. If there is no clean water, she didn't take a shower, she didn't wash her panties at night, she's not coming to school tomorrow. All that was wiped away once we have clean water. Even beer makers came to thank me. Said, now my beer is good. The chief won't arrest me. Economic empowerment, hygiene and sanitation, health issues, everything revolves about.
Now, you literally love and take care of the entire community of Nyaka and even beyond. This is a more personal question.
Yes, sir.
And you have a family,
Yes,
a nuclear family. Mm-hmm. How are you able to balance the equation? Don't they miss you? You give so much love to the community. Do they not miss you?
They actually do. My oldest son is 14 years old. He's actually here volunteering. He's right now at Nyaka school with me. Nyaka is 15 years old. He's 14. So I started it before. And sometimes he jokes and says, Nyaka is your firstborn, I'm secondborn. All his life he's seen service above self. What my children have is what many children read in books. They see service within the family. We have these talks. The kids write them letters. The teachers write them letters. We travel here together. I bring them here. Even the twins who are 3 years old have been here. They sat there on graduation and everyone is holding them. Yes, they do miss me. My girl was asking me, Dad, why are you not here? And I come in Uganda. Why? Because I'm working. Can you come to dinner and come back tomorrow? And tears flow because that's my baby girl. But at the same time, she's growing, seeing that living in this world is not about you, selfish reasons only, or being with the dad all the time. We can serve others, and that's what God calls us. I'm a Christian man, so I'm raising them to give to others, including sharing their dad.
Now, you are a hero to so many people, but who is your ultimate hero?
God.
Okay. away from God. Someone you look out for and say,
Yes.
that person is my hero.
Yeah. There are so many of those, I can tell you the truth. My mother has been my strongest hero. My mom went through every circumstance, every hardship you can imagine, and is still standing right now in a wheelchair, but a wonderful woman. I've had teachers who are my heroes. Freda, who taught me and saw me a young boy when my mom would run away from home because my dad was really harsh to her, and she would say, Jackson, you grow up one day and build your mom a house and bring her back. I've done that. Mondo Kagonyera, I was born when he was already a professor. And he's been close to us. We are related, but has been really an inspiration. When I got my honorary PhD, I sent him a picture and I said, finally, now we can wear the STEM gown. There are so many. There are people who gave their lives like Nelson Mandela, spending all that time in jail and come back and forgive all his tormentors and still lifted his country to where it is.
How would you want to be remembered?
That is a little tough. First of all, I would rather be here, not die and be remembered. But I will die, and I would like to be remembered as somebody who opened doors for others.
Well, one other more question for you before we can close it. Your parting thoughts.
That's also a tough one, because your audience are already heroes in their own right. But one parting thought, every person has an opportunity every day to make a difference. Don't wait to watch Urban TV to see somebody who makes a difference in other people's lives. Go, make a difference.
I never usually do this, but allow me to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Now,
it's been a pleasure.
Jackson is a source of inspiration to so many young people here and very old people. He has kind of united two generations together to show them that even without money, you can do something. It does not necessarily mean that you need to be a professor, you need to be the most successful business person to do something. You can kickstart any project in whatsoever situation, and it will be successful. Jackson did that 15 years ago. You too can do it. It's a time to start the conversation with your heart. But are you able to do it? Your coach, Edmond Safari. See you next week.